Hi, this is the start of a reading vlog, but before I tell you a little bit more what I will focus on in this reading vlog, I would like to address the current situation in the world. So, Russia has invaded Ukraine about 3 weeks ago, and for the first 2 weeks I have to say I didn't do anything except for being glued to my phone and reading the news constantly. I haven't been reading, I haven't been watching anything, I haven't been really leaving the house, and I have been trying to help the Ukrainian people in, ways that I can help. I've been donating things, buying things that, collecting packages that can be sent into Ukraine to help people there, buy some, necessities for people who came here to Poland, because at this point there's over 1 million Ukrainian people who crossed the Polish border and came to Poland to seek shelter from the war. And I will link in the description a video that, what's her name? Karolina Żebrowska. She posted a video called What's Happening in Poland Right Now, a live update. And at first I was a little bit wary because of the title of the video, because it seemed like, I don't know, it came off as, oh my god, we're suffering so much in Poland, but that's not the vibe of the video. I think that the important thing that she mentions briefly is that we lack the kind of infrastructure to help the people who came here. So there's a lot of people at railway stations who are sleeping on the floor, and it's heartbreaking. I hope there will be a lot more help from the government, because a lot of the things that have been happening in Poland, a lot of the help that has been provided to people from Ukraine, it's coming mostly from regular people from Poland and not from the government. So yeah, I hope things will improve soon in that department. But is that everything? Oh, of course not. I want to say, if you can, it would be very much appreciated if you could donate and help Ukrainian people. I will link a few places you can donate in the description below. Everything I will link below I will check thoroughly, because unfortunately there were some people that were trying to benefit from human suffering, and some of the kind of place where you could donate, they turned out to be fake. So everything I will link in the description. I will, check if they're legitimate places. So if you have the means, I think it would be very much appreciated if you could help even a little bit. So yeah, things have been weird, going shopping, going to the cinema. Even after those 2 weeks, it has been a weird experience, because I keep thinking I am able to do this, but my neighbors are experiencing war, literally they have missiles above their heads, and it's weird. We have a long history with Ukraine, sometimes a very complicated history, but there's a lot of Ukrainian people, even before the war started, there was a lot of Ukrainian people living here. I think that's the biggest minority in Poland. So I've studied with people from Ukraine, I worked with people from Ukraine, I just encountered people from Ukraine in my everyday life. So this feels, I don't know, personal? I don't know what else to call it, but for example, today I'm going to the cinema. I booked tickets. I have been very excited about the Oscar season, but I haven't been really watching anything for the past 3 weeks, and there's some kind of guilt attached to it. But yeah, I am going. I have the tickets. So yeah, I'm going to see The Worst Person in the World, which I think is a romantic comedy, which is weird to see on the list of nominated films. But yeah, I think I will update you a little bit more later about what movies I have seen and what I still would like to see before the kind of Oscar ceremony. Okay, I should finally talk to you about the books that I am going to read. Okay, so this vlog is going to be about some of the books that I have on my currently reading list that I have been reading for ages, and I would like to finish them finally. So currently I have 5 books on my currently reading list, but I'm not going to read them all. For example, Stamped from the Beginning, I'm not going to read this whole brick of a book. I am 50 pages in, but I am annotating it and I'm taking my time with it, so it will take some time before I finish it. But the 3 books I would like to finish in this reading vlog, and today is Thursday and I would like to finish it before Monday, so I think this vlog should last until Sunday. First of all, I don't have the dust jacket, but the book that I've chosen to read in my try-chapter tag, The Transition Baby, I finished the first chapter, so the first 44 pages, and I'm really enjoying it, would like to finish it. I'm still reading Confessions of a Mask by Yukio Mishima. I am 90 pages into it, it's very short, so the fact that I haven't finished it yet is a atrocity. I'm not loving it, but I would like to talk about this book a little bit more after I've finished it, because my thoughts are all over the place. It is about this boy who lives in Japan and he is attracted to men. And the way this book approaches this topic is interesting. Like, this boy is just very weird in the context of he's very much fascinated by death and like gory things. So I'm not sure how I will feel at the end of this book. And the last book that I started is Breakfast of Champions by Vonnegut. I am 40 pages into it and I'm really enjoying it. It's very weird. I'm 40 pages in, but I still don't know what it's about really just yet. But the text is very big and it has like a lot of illustrations. Yeah. They were all done by the author Vonnegut. For now, we're introduced to 2 characters. One is called Kilgore Trout, and he is a writer, like a sci-fi writer, and he wrote a science fiction book that was addressed kind of in a second person, and was like talking about how the rest of the world is just like everyone on this planet is a robot except for you, and is like written in the second person, so whoever is reading it is like addressed to the person, saying like, you are the only person who isn't a robot, everyone else is a robot on this planet. And like, it's a science fiction novel, but it reaches a guy called Dwayne Hoover, and I think he's mentally ill, I'm not sure, and I think he like thinks this is real, like the book isn't a book, and like he believes what's said in the book and the fact that he's the only person that's not a robot on this planet, and I know we go from there. But it's weird. If you've read Slaughterhouse-5, you would know how weird Vonnegut can get. That's all. I feel like this was a very long intro. Sorry about that, but there were some things I really needed to address. So the last thing I would like to say is that to motivate myself, I will be kind of counting how many like minutes and hours I'm reading in a day with like my phone. So we'll see how much time it will take me to finish those 3 books. So let's go. Okay, hello, it is Saturday evening, and before I say anything else, I just want to say that I know this vlog will last longer than until Sunday, because it's been 3 days, and I only managed to finish one book. So, I just finished Confessions of a Mask, and I don't know what to think. Yeah, more thoughts to come tomorrow, hopefully. Let me check. I spent 2.5 hours reading for the past 3 days, and I mean like active reading. I would like stop my timer. Hold on. So you can see 2.5 hours. I would stop the timer when I would like check my phone or something, or take a little break. So like active reading, 2.5 hours. Yeah, it's going to be either a 2-star or 3-star, but I need to sleep on it. So see you tomorrow. Okay, friendos, it is the next day, and I have some thoughts. So, Confessions of a Mask by Yukio Mishima is a book about a young man, who describes his childhood memories from like very early on until his 21. And it is about him being attracted to men, being homosexual in, the first half of the 20th century. This book was published in 1949, I believe, so just after the Second World War, and it does talk about the war, but overall I would say it's a rather plotless book. It does mostly focus on this like coming of age story, this exploration of sexuality of this young man. And I did like the second half a lot more than the first half, because throughout the first half I felt like this book was very kind of overwritten, self-indulgent. It felt like reading a character of a book kind of try and psychoanalyze himself, like using Freud's psychoanalysis, and he was analyzing his childhood in like excruciating detail. And here's the thing, I hate Freud's psychoanalysis. I think it's based on kind of over generalizations, and a lot of the time Freud ignored kind of individual differences, and he focused on biological or sexual needs and urges too much to my liking. And this book does the same thing. But here's the thing, I find it hard to criticize this book because what I disliked about it is kind of the whole point of this novel. Like, I hated this Freudian psychoanalysis that focused on his sexual urges. But since it is an examination of one's sexuality, it's hard to condemn that, That being said, this novel not only focuses on the sexual parts, but also, and I feel like this novel is semi-autobiographical, so I do feel like a lot of what the main character felt and thought was also coming from the author. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. But this novel is very gory because the young boy has this like weird fascination with death, and a lot of his kind of fantasies with like young boys, young men, is not even very sexual, but a lot of the times like disturbing. Yeah, and in like one breath he's like, yeah, I'm attracted to this guy, and also I would like to like take a knife and stab him in the stomach and watch him die, and just like, what? So, another thing I disliked about it is that this whole book is just like a bunch of memories from different times in his life, but there's like almost no transition between the memories. There's a lot that's like left out, and he's like, that's not important. I'm like, I feel like it is. He's choosing the memories he wants to share with you, and there's no story. He's just like exploring his sexuality and chooses the memories he thinks are important to show us who he is as a person. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised with the ending, because I felt like we were building up to something, and the ending felt very anticlimactic, but I didn't dislike it. So I have very mixed feelings on this book. Another thing I would like to say is that I feel like maybe some of my dislike towards this book was coming from me knowing a little bit about the author and his political views. He was very kind of right-wing, and yeah, I feel like that influenced my view of this novel. I'm not sure. So, a lot of mixed thoughts. I think I'm going to give it 3 stars because I definitely disliked it less in the end, and I feel like because I hate like Freudian psychoanalysis so much, and this book reminded me so much of like Freud's psychoanalysis, I just hated it so much. So I feel like it's a little bit of like a me thing. It wasn't my thing, but it might be your thing. So I feel like 3 stars makes more sense. Yeah, that's all. I still have 2 books to finish. Let's go. 셋별 I look very pale. Oh well, so wanted to update you on my reading. It is Tuesday, by the way. I've been reading for 4 hours and I am halfway through Breakfast of Champions, and I'm not enjoying it as much as I did at first. Like, I am 150 pages in and I'm still not sure what the book is about. It's very meta, but to the point it's kind of nonsensical. Yeah, also there's a lot of social commentary, and there are some things I'm uncomfortable with because the N-word is used a few times, and I find it hard to figure out if the author is racist or if he's like writing racist characters slash is showing us the reality of the 70s in the 20th century and like using the language that was used at that time. And you know, this is social commentary. Like, I don't know yet. I feel like there's a fine line there. I watched this video that was talking about this issue, like whether Kurt Vonnegut and Breakfast of Champions specifically is racist. I will link it in the description. And basically in this video the girl said that she doesn't think he's racist, that it is social commentary, that because it was written in the 70s. I think it was published in 1971 actually. Like, he's using the language of it that time, 1973. So, you know, it's still kind of problematic. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. What else? Oh my god, yesterday my cats were crazy. I probably showed you the little clip of them on the balcony. And you know, it was a great time for a very brief second because like 2 seconds later this happened. Also in the evening I was making sweet potato and butternut squash soup, and while I was making it, it was like suspiciously quiet, and I couldn't find the cats in this room, and they spent most of their time in this room. I couldn't find them in the hallway, so I started looking for them, and I found them in the bathroom. And Flora, the black cat, Flora was in the bathtub playing with a razor. So yeah, kittens are just a lot. How do y'all have kids? Like, I'm losing my mind with like 2 kittens. So also my brother is making ramen today, and I think it's going to be delicious. If it looks nice, I will film that. And tomorrow I'm thinking of making like brownies, but like a healthy version of brownies, so I might film that too. 셋별 just wanted to pop in here to tell you that the brownies were a failure. They turned out very thin and not sweet enough. I know they were like a healthy version of brownies, but I definitely did not add enough stevia, I don't know how you pronounce that. Yeah. They're weird. They're not very sweet. I have to say, I kind of knew I messed up somehow because in the video, the, what do you call it, dough, I don't like, the consistency was a lot thicker and mine was very liquidy, so even when I was pouring the mixture into the pan, the thing where you bake your cakes, I knew like something was wrong. So I mean, it's edible, but not very tasty. So that's all. I am 220 pages into Breakfast of Champions and I'm not enjoying it. So the next update will probably be, hey, I finished Breakfast of Champions and I gave it 2 stars. So it is the next day. I finished Breakfast of Champions and I gave it 2 stars. How shocking. Okay, let me put you on a tripod because I want to talk. Okay, so the plot. I actually was wrong. Kilgore Trout, who is a science fiction writer, and Dwayne Hoover, I believe, who is a car dealer, they meet and yeah, Dwayne reads his book and goes to this like homicidal rage. And that actually is the end of the book. Even though we were told that that will happen, this is kind of the climax of the story. So this story is very meta, and yeah, Kurt Vonnegut is a character in the story and he describes himself as the creator. So most of the book is like how we got there, how those two characters ended up meeting each other. And it's very chaotic, it's yeah, like I said before, nonsensical. And I think normally I like meta things, but this, I feel like he took it one step too far. So when it comes to the like racism stuff, I mean, aside from racism, there was a little bit of misogyny too. And I kept going back and forth between thinking like, oh no, this is satire. Like he's being like funny and like tongue-in-cheek and just like social critique, and going like, no, this is problematic. Like honestly, I'm still not sure where I stand there, but like aside from that, this book had its own problems, so I ended up giving it 2 stars. I still feel like I like his writing style, so I would like to read Cat's Cradle. And here's the thing, he actually graded all of his books, like he gave grade to all of his novels, and he graded Breakfast of Champions, he gave this book a C, and I do know he gave Slaughterhouse 5, which I really liked, and gave 4.5 stars to. He gave it A+, and he also gave A+ to Cat's Cradle, so I do feel like I'm going to enjoy Cat's Cradle a lot more. So that's it when it comes to the book updates. I still have one more book to read, and it is Thursday evening, so I really don't know how long this vlog will be, but yeah, tomorrow I'm getting my glasses. I'm going to show you my new glasses. And ooh, okay, I think this time has finally come, although you probably don't care, but I'm going to talk about some movies that were nominated for Oscars and which ones I've watched and which I would like to watch, and my kind of ranking so far. So I have my list here. Let me do the ranking first. So out of the movies I watched, let's start from the bottom. We have 2.5 stars. So I'm using the kind of letterbox rating system. So we have half stars and it goes from half a star to 5 stars. So actually the lowest rating so far is a 2.5 star, and one of those movies is Licorice Pizza. Like the aesthetic of this movie is great. It's set in, I don't know, 70s, 80s in LA. So I like that, but the problem is 2 main characters. One of them is like a 15-year-old boy and the girl is 20-something. I feel like they were like vague about her age on purpose, but she's between like 21 and 25, I think. And throughout the whole movie I was like, I hope they don't end up together. And I'm not going to say anything else, but I gave it 2.5 stars and I didn't love it. I also didn't love Don't Look Up. I mean, okay, I am all for the message, but like it was very in your face. It was not subtle at all. I did like laugh a few times, and like I said, like I support what they're trying to say, but the way they went about it was a bit much. Then we have 3 stars. I think I have only 1 3-star, and that is Belfast, directed by Kenneth Branagh. This movie is so overrated. I have to say, Kenneth Branagh took no risks with this movie. This movie is set during the, oh, what do you call it? The Troubles in Ireland. So this is like, should be a politically charged movie, but it's not. It doesn't really say anything politically. Yeah, he was very safe with this movie and it just came out very bland. I did like the main character, the boy. I kept comparing him to the little boy from Jojo Rabbit, which is a movie I really actually liked. And I don't want to like actually compare them, like their acting skills, they were both great and they made me laugh quite a lot. So I was rather disappointed. It's not like the worst movie I've ever seen, but yeah, just very bland, took no risks. Then we have a 3.5 stars, that's Tick Tick Boom with Andrew Garfield, and he really carries that movie. I mean, I don't really have much to criticize here, it's just that I'm not a musical kind of person, so if you were a theater kid in your younger years, you're going to like love this movie, but yeah, I don't love musicals, so this was fine. Yeah, a 4-star. I gave 4 stars to The Power of the Dog. Okay, here's the thing. Most of this movie was a snooze fest, like I was so bored. But the ending is actually really good, and I do think the ending makes this movie, and because of the ending I would recommend it, and I kind of want to rewatch it because I feel like this is a completely different movie when you kind of know the ending. Yeah, so 4 stars. Yeah, interesting. I feel like I don't want to so here's the thing, this is a western, so the second I heard this was a western I was like, I'm not gonna watch it, I don't care. But then I heard it's directed by a woman and I was like, okay. So I really don't want to say anything else because I feel like this movie really plays with your expectations, like what kind of movie it's going to be. So I would go into it blindly and see how you like it. And so far, 2 of my favorite movies I gave 4.5 stars to. And I really don't know how to rank them at this point, so I'm just going to say, I'm just going to talk about The Worst Person in the World first. Yeah, I watched this movie last week and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, really surprising to see a romantic comedy there on the list of nominated movies, but it is kind of unique. I really enjoyed it. I don't have much to say about it, but I was surprised to see the director of this movie is a man. Yeah, I thought the main character is a woman, and I did find her very relatable, and I really enjoyed it. It's a movie from Norway, I believe. Yeah. And the second 4.5 stars for me is The Daughter, directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, who is Jake Gyllenhaal's older sister. And I mean, that's not her only identity. She's an actress also, but this is her, what do you call it, directorial debut? However you pronounce it. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised this is a debut, I have to say. I remember a review on Letterboxd saying that this movie is yeah, this is a very interesting movie about motherhood, and it has an unlikable character at its center, but and yeah, obviously Olivia Colman's acting splendid. Is it all? Okay, so what movies I would like to watch? I would like to watch Nightmare Alley, but I don't have high expectations for it. I would like to watch Coda, but it's on Apple Plus, just like The Tragedy of Macbeth, and I don't have Apple Plus, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to watch it, but I mean the Tragedy of Macbeth looks stunning, like at least visually. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. I would like to watch also King Richard, that's on HBO, I'm going to watch it soon, and also Drive My Car. Oh, I remember what I wanted to say. The Lost Daughter, I think, is an adaptation of a book by Ferrante, what is her name? I don't remember. But yeah, there's also Drive My Car, which is an adaptation of some short story collection by Murakami. And I'm not going to read it. I read a little bit of Murakami in middle school / high school, and I'm just not like in love with his books anymore. So I'm not going to read it, so I'm going to watch this movie. And I know it's like 3 hours long and it's like slow, but it's about like a playwright, and he's going to adapt, I think, Uncle Vanya on stage. And I've watched Uncle Vanya. I mean, I watched 2 different stage adaptations of Uncle Vanya. I've never read the play, but you know, I'm familiar with the story. So you know how I am about theater and like plays. So the second I heard about this, and supposedly like the main characters has some secrets. So the second I heard about this story, I was like, okay, this could be good. And I do think if I were to predict like what else out of the list of the movies I haven't watched yet, but I would like to, if I were to predict which I would like the most, I feel like Drive My Car has a potential to be kind of high up on my list. Like I feel like this is like a dark horse in this competition. I'm not sure if I missed anything, maybe. I don't have a lot of interest in like documentaries and like shorter features, shorter movies, so, or animated movies, so that's my list. So far I just told you what I liked and what I didn't. I don't have predictions what's going to win, because I feel like I need to watch more movies. I mean, the most Belfast and The Power of the Dog got the most nominations. I really hope when it comes to like the main category, so best film, I really hope Belfast is not going to win. Sorry. Okay, that's it. Okay, just a quick update on the glasses. Here they are. I really like them. They're so comfortable. Not even the frames, just it feels so comfortable to wear them, because my previous glasses actually had like too strong of a prescription, so immediately the second I put them on I would feel like this pressure, and later it would turn into a headache. Like, you know, when you like try someone else's glasses and they have a strong prescription and you like put them on and your brain's like, I don't like that. Yeah, I felt that constantly. So when I tried these on at the like shop at the optician today, I was like shocked, because I was like, oh my god, is this how people who have the right prescription for their glasses feel like every day? Like, this is so comfortable. Honestly, I should have done this ages ago. Also, I think I'm going to join some reading sprints today to make some progress on the transition baby, but I'm still enjoying it very much, so yeah. Okay, hi, last update. I started editing this video and realized I have a lot of footage already. It is Monday, but I haven't been really recording anything on Saturday or Sunday because I was like, I have a lot of footage. But I finally finished The Transition Baby. I realized also that I didn't give you the premise, so very briefly, The Transition Baby focuses on 3 people. Reese, who is a trans woman and she's about 35 and she would really like to be a mother. Reese also dated Ames back in the day, a few years ago, and Ames used to be a trans woman but the transition, so the 2 of them were in a lesbian relationship. And at the present time, Ames has hooked up with his boss, Karina, so that's the 3rd person, and Ames thought he was sterile, but he wasn't, so Karina got pregnant, and Ames isn't sure how he feels about fatherhood, so Ames contacts Reese, tells her that he's going to be a father, and they trying to work out whether the 3 of them can make this kind of family and raise this kid together. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I was a little bit disappointed with the ending. It did feel like, without spoiling anything, it did feel a little bit like the story went nowhere a little bit, but I still enjoyed it throughout. I felt this book was messy, but kind of in a good way. Like, it had very flawed characters who like made mistakes and sometimes had opinions that I'm not sure if I always agreed with, but because of that I thought it was a very kind of thought-provoking read. I thought it was very well written, it was clever, it was bold, it was funny, kind of light-hearted and witty, but also had those kind of more gut-wrenching moments too. I feel like one last critique I have for it is that I felt like maybe this book would have worked a little bit better if we had also Katrina's point of view, because we mostly focus on Ames and Reese and their past relationship too. We kind of skip back and forth in timelines, so we actually get to see Ames or Emmy at the time and Reese when they were together. But yeah, Katrina was a cis woman, but she was also the only person of color in this book. She is, I believe, half white or actually Jewish, and half Asian, I believe Chinese. And I don't know, I felt like I would like to hear her voice too. We do hear her voice, but like we don't get to see events from her point of view, like narrating the story, and we do get to see that with Ames and Reese. So, but I would still recommend it, yeah. 4 stars. I had a good time overall. So that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm never sure if I should post vlogs because I feel like I don't have the right personality for vlogs. I feel like I have to be fun and entertaining and have good editing skills for vlogs to be like enjoyable, fun to watch. But I do enjoy making them, so I hope you enjoyed it too. And lastly, in the description I will leave a few links to organizations where you can donate and help Ukraine. So if you can help, please do. Unfortunately, the war in Ukraine is still ongoing. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!